Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. I didn't want to do it all on camera because it's pretty boring to watch, but I queued up a massive slew of power plants all across the country. We're just going to electrify the country, and that's going to hopefully increase standard of living by allowing us to electrify our street lighting. So that's the big thing that I'm working on right now in my internal while we wait. Actually, our income is pretty low. So we could go ahead and get a conquer in places. Do you want to grab Zanzibar? It's going to be 17.5. So we'll wait parts of a year. We'll probably do it right about around when next year comes around. We'll grab Zanzibar, and that will let us keep a hold of this coast and make sure that Communist East Africa stays isolated in the way in which I want them to be, so that they'll be easier to conquer later. And then maybe we'll put a pin in that. So basically we've done electrification kind of all over the empire. Obviously not in any of our puppet states, but that is what it is. Investment pool is still actually going up at a significant clip, so I'm going to go ahead and throw down some more construction industry. One more in Carmon. And once again, I'm going to put those up at the top. Because again, we're still able to build a huge construction industry. So we've got another election going on. The communists and the fascists have quite a bit of momentum. They are the ruling parties at this time. The Sunni Ulema is continuing to be the Islamic Party. So they're not interested in joining the fascists, which I am happy about. And so as we get these power plants constructed, we're going to slowly switch the urban centers in these zones over into being using electric street lighting. But we can't do that until there's electricity in the areas. What if we did public motor carriages everywhere? The centers are down here, right? You got an event. Fruitful endorsements. 1 second with that. That would increase demand for automobiles by 1.32k, but it would make these massively more profitable. I think I will. Of course, that's going to add massive demand for cars, but we can go ahead and increase the size of the motor industries to compensate for that without creating a problem. Assuming I can find them. Here they are. So, if we... No labor. Some labor available in Basra. Plenty of labor available in Eastern Thrace. I think Kastamonu has a little bit of labor available. And then I think Isfahan No, Aleppo. A lot of labor available in Aleppo. Alright, so that'll help things out as well. Fruitful endorsements. In a gesture of solidarity with the Communist Party, Kamil Mulos has encouraged his supporters to vote for it in the ongoing elections. For the interest of all principled people, Communist Party has a consistent record of excellence. I cannot speak higher of those brave men and women moving Turkey forwards under their name. He has our thanks, certainly. This gives them 30% momentum. This endorsement would best be more specific. Get 20% momentum and makes the trade unions stronger. He's an anarchist. That's interesting. I've currently got the communists in power. I'm going to give them some momentum. I don't necessarily want to improve the trade union's position all that much. We seem to be having a shortage of bureaucracy, but we have the technology to deal with that. So let's go ahead and turn some government admin into improved government admin. It's going to cost 175 telephones. I don't believe it will actually cost £46,000, but we'll find out. And that's given us a bunch more bureaucracy available. It is December. Our infamy is down to 8.6, which is close to where we want to be to snatch up Zanzibar. Got to move into enact mass conscription. That's interesting. I don't desire to do that. Mass conscription puts a lot of difficulty on our ability to maintain the kind of army that I want us to have. So, Eastern Thrace is electrified, so let's go ahead and put it in electrified streetlights. It's going to have an electricity shortage for a time while these power plants get employing people, but once they're employing people, which they are because they're quite profitable at this time, that will sort itself out. So we'll do the same in a bunch of these other zones. And there's conveyors, which unlocks a whole mess of other production methods. And there's mechanized farming, which does the same. There's mechanized slaughterhouses for our where are they? Well, they're in rural, so that helps for our livestock ranches. This actually costs coal, not electricity, so let's go ahead and do it. And that's going to make those a lot more profitable. I think it made them more profitable. What do you think? Oh, interesting. Put these on intensive wool gathering. Alright, perfect. So, there's an election. We once again have a legitimate government formed of the extremists on both sides. That's center Islamism, right? That's what center Islamism is about? Very cool. So I think in Europe we're basically ready to do all the electrification we've been planning on doing. Western Thrace does have a power plant as well. They're electrified. Chemical warfare. Oh boy. Things are getting wild. I'm just going to quickly bang out all of these since they're where we want them to be right now. And I'm hoping this leads to a large increase in our standard of living from all of the electric lighting. We'll see if that goes the way I'm hoping it goes. Still working on the ones in Huda Vendigar. We're in February now. Alright, reputation has finally gotten to the point we want it to be at. We'll just wait for the month to tick over and then we'll get started with this diplomatic play. Did it go from February 27th to March 1st? I feel like that's not the way that's supposed to go. Conquer. Just go ahead and quickly mobilize the 8th Turkish Army. This is an unrecognized power. Do they have any kind of meaningful armed forces? Not really. Skirmish infantry, shrapnel artillery, I'm not hugely concerned. So as long as nobody gets involved in this, we can successfully complete this and then grab whatever we wish to grab. I might snake my way down the coast and try to grab Gaza. You're in the wrong place, Gaza. You're supposed to be up where I am. You thought you could flee from me, Gaza? By going to Africa, you thought you could escape Ottoman rule. You fool. Now the Ottomans are here. Oh, sorry. Apparently I've gotten quite silly. But I think as it seems clear, I now have a for sure desire to to pursue conquest of Gaza such as it presently exists, because it is too funny to me that that the area is. Oh, that's very funny. I don't know why all these places drop in profitability a bunch. Can't get a more loyalist government. I could still put. I could still faction up with the agrarians, but I'm not going to right now. So as you can see, we're slowly electrifying the country. Still getting built. I might. Produce tools, extra coal, and engines. Standard of living is ticking up. It's been successfully doing so for a little bit, which means that our body politic is quite loyal overall, and that's providing a lot of strong, solid bonuses. We are conquering here. We're still at reputable, barely. So I'm feeling confident. How's the market looking? The market wants art, cars, and tanks, and rubber. There should be rubber available in Rift Valley, which is getting built up by the private sector. Those are using automatic? Yes, they are. All right. Perfect. I'm going to set our rubber plantations to... In fact, I'm going to set... That's right. You know, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I've been neglecting these territories in Indonesia. But, you know, it's just a funny way. All right, we'll get some power plants built in these zones as well. Actually got 2 levels of power plants here already, so we can go ahead and set electric streetlights in operation here, and we can do in here as well. Power plants here? We do not. Basically, I'm basing the number of power plants I build on the size of the urban center overall. So that's why I'm doing it that way. And do I have power plants in North Borneo? I do not, surprisingly. So we'll queue those in. Let's take a look at a battle. Oop. There's no battles happening in Zanzibar. We've already conquered Zanzibar. There will be no need to show any combat. Stop the presses. That's rad. So this is why overseas imperialism is not great, because you can own territories that you can just completely forget about. Once again, these need electricity to function. I think planning electrification is just going to end up being a between episodes affair. But I am going to put as many of these plantations on rail transport as I can to save on labor. Sugar is dirt cheap in my market, so I still haven't moved those ones forward to the fully built out method, which is, I think, sensible. Sugar is dirt cheap in the market, and no one's buying too much of it. So where to next? I think Darfur is a good target. And then maybe Douala and Wadai. How much territory does Douala consist of? It's just Ubangashari, a little bit of Equatoria, and South Cameroon. A situation going on in Costa Rica. How are the Americas? Mexico's still standing strong against the United Sovereign Archduchy. But they did get a hold of this territory. I don't know how long that's been. Ooh, unregulated automobiles. Due to a spate of accidents, there have been calls to regulate automobiles. It's being reported that an automobile veered off the road into a nearby river, faster than a horse and twice as heavy. If people don't see why that's dangerous, I don't know what to tell you. Stricter laws make safer streets, reduce motor industry's throughput, but angry industrialists. People merely need to adjust, happy industrialists. Automobiles should have the right of way, angry lower stratum pops. People merely need to adjust. I don't want to reduce the efficiency of my motor industries right now because I need them producing as many cars and engines as I can have. We will immediately go ahead and reset production methods in Zanzibar and see what resources we've got available. We've got a bunch of rubber plantations, so let's go ahead and build those, and we'll queue them in immediately all the way to the top. And the port that was under construction there already will finish out quickly. That should be fine. We've got so much construction capacity at this point. How is the investment pool? The investment pool is still deep in the black. I have a really strong economy right now. The Europeans finally stopped fighting, so they're probably due for a big ol' world war. Benin backed down. USA was grabbing a treaty port. I'm kind of worried no one's fighting in Europe. British Republic is very solidly at the bottom of the scales right now. France is still number 2 next to me, and trying to take the lead, but not succeeding at it. Italy is still surprisingly strong. Austria, Hungary, and Germany are about next to each other. Oh, Germany went and took Alsace-Lorraine. I might be confusing this with my other run. Russia's borders have been static the whole game, as has their standard of living, basically. Their literacy and everything else. So, not too concerned about that. Sindh is my protectorate. Relations are cordial, but they are rebellious. If I reduce their autonomy, they have a chance of accepting. I want to go ahead and increase our relationship before I go too far trying to reduce their autonomy even further, because I don't want to fight wars to reduce autonomy. I think that's a little bit of a waste. In fact, I'm bearing the lead here. I think it's a huge waste. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size of the construction sector, friends, because we've just got so much stuff to build, and we need to get more people building it. I need a railway in Kordofan. I'm going to queue that up to the top. I am going to queue those construction sectors up to the top eventually, but not quite yet. Kenya does have some labor. Somaliland has some labor. Rift Valley has none. Zanzibar has some. And we'll continue to build out construction sectors in Persia. There is plenty of labor here. In fact, Tabriz can be an industrial center, I think. So where are we now? We're queue in another 2 in Tabriz. Oh, all right. We got a big war popping off here. So this is what? This is the United States. This is a different one. Okay, the Kievan capitalist revolt. I don't even care about that. What matters is this war between France and the United Sovereign Archduchy. So France wants to ban slavery over there. They want to conquer Travancore, which is... here in India. Interesting. They want to change the regime in Liberia and steal it. And then the United Sovereign Archduchy back is going to humiliate them, open their market, and liberate Ait Abbas and Constantine. You know what? I'm completely okay if they fight. That's not even a concern for me, in fact. I shouldn't have let Sind go so long being with low relations. That was dumb of me. I've got a lot of movements. Oh, one of my movements just went and closed out. That's good. I think I might move to old age pensions because I am actually experiencing significant unemployment and peasant populations right now. So I might go ahead and do that. I've got a little bit more authority right now, so I'm going to throw in another consumption tax, this time on porcelain. And yeah, I think we'll just go ahead. So this is a welfare item, right? So the industrialists are going to be upset about this. The petit bourgeois are not going to be happy, nor are the semi ulema, but I think it'll basically be fine. And that's going to buy us a healthy supply of loyalists as well. It's going to give us 5.78 million loyalists. And that's pretty good. We're down to 19.5 infamy. How much is it going to be to take Darfur? 7.8. Alright, so we can't do that quite yet. I forgot to queue those construction industries up to the top of the queue. I think my economy was a little bit stagnant for a while because I wasn't experiencing great population growth. I just didn't have enough healthcare and workers' protections to be able to sustain solid population growth, but now I'm having really solid population growth, so I think the economy has really kicked into high gear. So, and that's great. I'm feeling really happy and confident with the way that's turned out. Nice, solid set of items here under Diplomatic Pact income, which I'm also very pleased about. And with a construction pool this size, I can pause construction to get just an enormous amount of leeway economically. One of the things I might do, though, is as long as France is in a nasty war with the United Sovereign Archduchy, I might try to rip off a chunk of Communard East Africa. Try to grab a little bit of that for myself. Just as long as they're distracted. There's a rebellion happening in Darfur anyway, so I can't rightly intervene in that without causing a problem. I could go after the British Republic as well. In fact, this territory right here in Equatoria is an extremely tempting target because they're because number one, it's isolated, and number two, Britain is not much of a power anymore. Britain has really fallen out. They've lost control of Canada, they've lost control of Australia, they've lost control of India, except for all these tiny... I think these states are all still chunks of... are all still technically puppets of Britain, but I can steal them. Old age pensions is in study already, which is very nice. I'm quite pleased about that. There is a movement to preserve wage subsidies, but I'm not... I'm ignoring it. And feeling pretty good about doing so. Wow, that's a lot in construction goods. A huge amount, actually. I'm pretty pleased. I've really developed Turkey into a real major by this point. Like, this is a... I know it's 1946, but like we're a 1.0 late game power at this point. I'm actually quite pleased with how things have gone down. And yeah, I think actually grabbing the British Republic territory here is going to end up being the right call. Hopefully we won't experience any kind of problems with that. The one thing I wish I could do is get sinned to a point of not being rebellious and reduce their autonomy first. But, well, what are my chances of being able to do that now? 37% still. I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it. We're going for Great Britain. I do have enough that I can grab it. 4% chance they accept, which is pretty solid. Italy's improving relations. Cool. We'll see if they keep doing it. And they accepted. Oh, on a 4% chance. Wonderful. Oh, that's brilliant. So we'll go ahead and reset some production methods. We will queue in a power plant. We'll build up a bunch of rubber plantations and logging camps. Oh, I'm feeling very, very full of myself now. Oh, excellent. Throwing Turkish weight around. Feeling very, very strong. I just stole some territory in Africa from Britain, and they didn't even put up a fight. Oh, I'm very pleased. This is very good. I'm very happy with how things have turned out. I think when we get to the end of the episode, I'll start setting these areas to electrified. For the moment, although actually we're basically, oh yeah, there were a bunch in Indonesia. Public address goes awry. This is a stall event. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of old age pensions by Mithat Burhan has quickly devolved into a public relations disaster for the trade unions. Fumbling his way through a series of poorly presented talking points, Mithat Burhan's arguments have been viciously and convincingly picked apart by his political opponents. The question on everyone's lips now is merely if this mishap was due to the inherent failings of old age pensions, or can be chalked down to the political incompetence of the trade unions. It's the fault of this poorly thought-out proposal. This reduces enactment chance by 15%. Mithat Burhan must take the fall for the setback, or scrap the current draft and make a show of a rewrite. This does get us one setback, but it also gives us 10% enactment chance. We're at 57%. I'm going to do this. I'm feeling extremely confident in our ability to go forward with 67% success, 23% advance, 9% stall. Plus, we've already gotten to study, so I'm pretty confident overall in that department. All right, and we are still building up all of the power plants. I might just go ahead and... Actually, I just queued in one more. Yeah, no, we're good to go with that. I think as soon as these get finished out, I might just mass switch them over just as much as I can. And then, of course, we're going to get all those motor industries in Basra building up. And that will hopefully help with our market some, to get the price of engines and cars down, because boy howdy, do we sure love cars. We are trading a lot of them, and a bunch of them are in public busing, but still 4.95k of cars and pop consumption. That's really impressive. We've got an average standard of living of secure for the middle, 24, and for the lower we're still impoverished, but we're just on the cusp of middling, which I'm feeling pretty pleased about overall. Wealthy, we're at 44. That's not... sorry, upper stardom, we're at wealthy, which is 44%, which is not at all shocking. Upper stardom pops, it's very typical for them to have absolutely bananas standard of living. No one should be surprised by that. Spain versus Great Qing. Spain's kind of getting to be a world power again. They're doing stuff. They want Xinjiang Treaty Port, and Qing is going for recognition. Oh boy, that's gonna be a big ol' time. They've been embargoing us for a minute now. So if they get recognized, that's gonna be... Where are they in the overall prestige rankings? They're at 1698. Okay, so they're not actually that high. The only ones they'd overtake are Brazil, Britain, and Peru, Bolivia, if they got their recognition. So I don't, at this point, feel any need to involve myself in that situation. I think I can leave it. Old age pensions is voting. That's very good. And Spanish-Russian rivalry. With that said, I think I'm going to improve relations with them a little bit. I don't necessarily need to be on their bad side at this time in history. Sindh is still rebellious. I hope once we get to 50, they'll change their tune. That having been said, though, that's going to be the end of today's episode. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun. And I will see you all on the other side.